Thank you guys, and thanks for having me here, and lovely to meet all of you. I think let's go around and just introduce ourselves. I'm Gina Cavallo, as you mentioned, Audigent as part of Experian. I'm the head of agencies and brands. And to my left. It is my left.
My name's Laura Sheely. I'm a marketing director at Chili's. I've been here close to 10 years, and I work on all things brand. So I work on our tentpole media and our TV commercials, but I also work on the look and feel of Chili's and how it comes to life. And it's a really fun job.
I'm Bickert. I'm the director of social and digital advertising. I've also been here close to 10 years. Laura and I got hired a month apart. So we're partners in crime here at Chili's.
I'm Jack Haley. I lead social and influencer under Luz. And I've almost been at Chili's 10 years too, but 7 of them were in restaurants, so in corporate for like 3.
That counts. I'm Melissa Corum, the director of PR for Chili's. So my team is responsible for all of that news coverage that hopefully you guys have seen. So, yeah.
Awesome. Thank you guys so much. Let's we'll get right into it. So, because I know everyone is ready to get to happy hour. So Margaritas. Very on brand. The first question, and I'll go this way for it. What does a buzzworthy moment look like for Chili's, and how do you ensure it aligns with your brand values and long-term strategy?
Okay, I can take that one, or at least start it. So, value has always been a really big part of Chili's strategy, even really from the beginning. And we have a 3 for Me, which is a pretty robust value platform. If you've never had it, you should go. But it is a entree, you get a bottomless drink, and bottomless chips and salsa as your appetizer. So all of that for $10.99, we feel that it's like an incredible deal. And so, if you kind of go back a year or so ago, we were getting ready for our next tentpole media window, and we had our culinary team had developed this amazing new burger called the Big Smasher, and it is a familiar flavor to some fast food burgers. It's like Thousand Island onions, pickles. It's really delicious, and it was on 3 for Me. And previously, we had done all this social listening, and we found this insight that fast food is too expensive. Like, that's just basically what people have been seeing. People were spending more than $10.99 on their fast food meals. And so we had this amazing Big Smasher that was going to be on 3 for Me. We had this tentpole media window coming up, and it was this perfect combination to have the strategy that we were going to take aim at fast food and go on air with the Big Smasher. And so we went on air. We had this campaign. It was really fun, like oversized comparisons in the ads, like comparing our burgers to fast food, and it was incredibly successful. So all that happened last year, and it was great for the brand. We were having a really good year, and then come this year, the next thing is, how do you top it? How do you do it better? And so this was the challenge of this year. We had a new burger from our innovation and culinary team called the Big QP. It's incredibly delicious. It's going to be on 3 for Me. And at this point, it's table stakes to have a good commercial. Like, I promise we can make a delicious commercial that looks really good. But really, it was, how do you make it better? How do you go above and beyond? And what's newsworthy about it? So that was the challenge that we had this year. And so that's kind of where that was what we needed to do. So.
Yeah, and I'll expand a little bit. I think if you want to click through maybe one slide more. So this is the burger Laura was talking about that we launched in April. So the Big QP, it's on TV now. I'm looking at Tim. I'm sure it's on TV right now. And so we were, from a PR perspective, our goal is to get into the conversation, especially into the news. So menu news, of course, is exciting, but we want to get beyond kind of what's new on the menu at Chili's. So like Laura mentioned, luckily the conversation or the truth is still out there that fast food is very expensive. So our $10.99 platform is still relevant this year. And so we're like, okay, let's take another swing at it again. And we found it really still resonated with consumers and with our audience, which are reporters. But how we kind of approach everything from a PR perspective here at Chili's is like, okay, if you think of our audience are the reporters, like what do we need to get them that will work for them, because they have a job too. So it's, they can't just, write everything we send them. So we need to make it appealing for them so that they get viewers. And so one of the ideas that the team had was to create a more consumer-facing stunt to really service the launch of our new burger. So if you want to click one more slide through, we opened up a fast food financing store in Union Square. So this is real. April is when we opened this up. So we actually as you can see, opened up next to a popular fast food restaurant. So to make it, subtly obvious to our guests, kind of what we're trying to do here. So really what we were doing is leaning into this insight that, of course, fast food is very expensive. So it's like, who can even afford this stuff? When you're in the drive-thru, you're like, oh, wow, I can barely afford this. So Chili's is kind of here to come to your rescue. And we actually provided, assistance and loans for our guests or anyone who visited our store, and we gave out gift cards to that had money on it, and so people could use it to supplement their next fast food meal. It also was kind of coupled with this truth that we don't have any Chili's in New York City. So, literally everyone in the city, you cannot physically get to a Chili's, unfortunately, to enjoy our $10.99 special. So we were giving some relief by providing gift cards. So we were open for 2 days, and as you can see, guests would walk right through here. And Laura, I don't know if you wanted to explain a little bit more about kind of how it came to life.
Let me tell you about this, because it was wild. We built out this payday loan-esque shop, and as Melissa was telling you, it was truly it's a consumer-facing experience. It was all legit. You walk in, there are these trained actors who would greet you at the door. They all had They would harass you. And as you can see, everything from the carpet was made custom. They had pens, and you filled out an actual application. And the application was is fast food too expensive? Yes or no? Over and over again. But it took a while. You had to put some work into it. But at the end of it, you got a big approved stamp, and you got a $20 Visa gift card. And that was so that we would go finance you to go to get your next fast food meal, which is fun and kind of a cool concept. But as you're leaving, you walk through the back. You can kind of see it. That back door there is a bank vault door. And if you walk through the door, this bright light would shine, and you would walk through this really dark hallway that we're glad no one injured themselves in. And you would enter out into a Chili's speakeasy. And so you got your money to go try fast food. There's literally one next door if you wanted, but we also gave you a Chili's 3 for me. So the burger and the fries and the chips and salsa and the drink, all of those things right there. As Melissa was saying, you can't get that in New York. And so, we got to let all of these guests try our food in person, and then they can go try their fast food and compare it themselves and make their own decision. So it was really fun. We had a line out the door. There's a slide in a second. You can see the line. We had to turn people away at the end. We're like, hey, there's no more food. And they're like, we still want to wait. So it was really fun. But there was more, which I'll let Luz talk about.
As you can see, we got the best sign spinner in the country to drive some awareness in the front. But the team spent so much time and effort bringing this pop-up to life. And so Jack and I had the challenge of how do we bring this to the world on social. So we decided to partner with 3 macro influencers with 3 completely different audiences. We partnered with Wes and Jesse from Bravo for that lifestyle component, that kind of comedy component, because this was so ridiculous. We partnered with Jason Tardik, formerly on The Bachelor, but now he has a finance podcast. So he brought the finance angle to his content. And then we partnered with Shari, who is a foodie TikToker with millions of followers. And so we brought all 3 out the day before we went live for them to experience this just like a consumer would. They also experienced the burger in the back of the speakeasy, and they all had very different content that brought awareness to the pop-up, the event, and of course the new Big QP. In addition to that, we hosted a media and influencer night that was a larger event than the 3 creators that we brought early on, where we brought foodies from all different parts of the country to experience the speakeasy, but more importantly, create content for the Big QP. And so that really created awareness of the value proposition of 3 for Me. So really excited with the results. I'll punt it to Melissa to talk about what it led to PR.
Yeah, real quick, I'll just touch on this. Is just a few highlights we saw. So super excited to see, of course, like the buzzy thing that we assumed folks would write about, our fast food financing pop-up, but also really excited to see the coverage around the Big QP, of course, our new burger.
Something that was really exciting that I wanted to mention, we were open for 2 days, Laura. The influencers that created content the day we launched, which was the day before the public event, some other influencers in the city or in the area like Jersey and Pennsylvania saw the content and reached out to us for an invite for either to create content for free, to just attend and create content on behalf of the brand, which felt like a win, and others obviously wanting to partner as well, but seeing it resonate and come across other people's feeds kind of feels like a success metric that doesn't have a true KPI, but is a win.
I'm so sad I didn't know about this because I live in New York and I used to live in that neighborhood. Next time, now that we're all friends, you'll let me know when this happens, because I feel like I was out of the loop as a New Yorker. It's a tragedy.
We got you.
You got me.
Next time.
I'll let you know the next time we build a pop-up payday loan shop.
I'm happy to Instagram it. I'm not sure anyone cares, but I will.
No.
All right. Well, this is awesome, guys. This is the most well-prepared, easiest panel I've ever had to moderate in my life, by the way.
Yeah.
Can you walk us through a recent campaign or moment that generated significant engagement? What made it work? What did you learn from it?
It would be remiss to not mention the very, very, very popular cheese pools and triple dipper that I hope you all have seen on TikTok. The team has spoken about how it's been transformative for the brand and the business, but let us tell you how this came to be, how we launched it, and how we really made it a large moment for the brand.
Yeah, so really quick, who has seen a triple dipper or a cheese pull on TikTok? Okay, thank you so much. My boss is right next to me, so that helps a lot. Okay, if we want to skip to the next slide, so we're going to take you through like the first 6 months of virality of the triple dipper. So going from left to right, so in April of 2024, we really saw the triple dipper taking off organically. So this is Dylan, who's a huge foodie creator. He was eating the triple dipper at home by himself. We didn't pay him to do this. And so in April, we saw like a huge influx of content, specifically with this cheese pull on TikTok. So we figured out that people love the cheese pull because, one, it's kind of like a challenge. You want to go into a restaurant and see if you can actually get one. And then 2, when you do it and it goes off camera, people are like, oh my God, this is so crazy. I have to go and get my own cheese pull. So really driving people into a restaurant to see if they can do it. In May, we were like, all right, we need to add some fuel to the fire. So we partnered with Cavallo, one of our amazing agency partners. If you don't know what Cavallo is, it's basically a creator marketplace. So that means that somebody like me that has like 200 followers on TikTok, I can sign up for a challenge, which is essentially a brief. And we put out like 3 or 4 briefs about the viral triple dipper, which was fried mozzarella, honey chipotle crispers, and burger bites. And those 2 months from like May to July or August, we had like 350 videos with over 3 million impressions just from Cavallo alone, from those challenges and briefs that we put out. And then in August, we got the crazy idea from our senior vice president of supply chain, James. He was like, why don't we toss the fried mozzarella in Nashville hot sauce? So George and Sibo came to Luz and I and was like, hey, we have this idea to toss this in Nashville hot. What do you think? And Luz and I were like, we don't know. It ended up being really good. We haven't tried it yet. So it's amazing. If you haven't tried it, please go try it. So we partnered with one influencer to launch our new Nashville hot fried mozzarella. Her name is Kayla Pacheco. She's amazing. So I think we had it was like 2 weeks from start to finish. I flew to San Diego for the day. We shot with her really quick. And Kayla's one video, this was the only thing we did from like a paid perspective or for influencer. She was one influencer, got 13 million impressions and like 1.5 million likes, I think. And like Triple Dipper went bananas after that, specifically Nashville hot fried mozzarella, just from that one video. And then we had a ton of like organic support behind it, jumping into Brat Summer and trending things going on and aligning that with our new Nashville hot fried mozz. And then in October, sales were great. Triple Dipper, the category had gone from like 10% to 15% of the business. We were so excited, and we were like, all right, we launched a new menu item, so how do we keep cultural buzz around the Triple Dipper? So of course we decided to make a 2-person fried mozzarella Halloween costume, because what else would you do? Which, shout out to Laura, I think it was Laura's idea to actually do that, so thank you, Laura. But we partnered with Wes and Jesse. This is them running around New York City in their fried mozzarella costume. We sold a limited edition on welcomechilies.com, which is our merch site, and just continued to like give some cultural relevance to the Nashville hot fried mozzarella and to Triple Dipper as a whole. So that kind of takes you through the first 6 months of the Triple Dipper beast. It's still like recognizable today. People still post content about it every single day. It's still as hot as it was in April, which is honestly shocking, but I'm really glad about it. But yeah, I mean, keep an eye out to see more things about Triple Dipper and fried mozzarella from us in the next couple months.
And to continue to just kind of strike that fire, we didn't just stop the efforts. Like when this timeline ends, we continue to brief creators to talk about Triple Dipper, both from a paid perspective or the creator marketplace perspective, in refreshing ways and trending ways. I hope you guys have seen some of those videos that say like this and yap, and it's your Triple Dipper. So it's like finding trending ways to talk about the same product offering, but in relevant ways.
That's great. And again, I missed that because that video is again by my new house, so in Central Park. So apparently I'm way out of the know, because then there was a fried piece of mozzarella running by
Yes.
Central Park, and I missed that.
You definitely missed that. And I'll hit real quick on the PR side. So here we go. So here's the challenge or the opportunity, I guess, on our side. And I mean, I think you guys would all agree, PR and social work so hand in hand. They feed each other. So we work very closely together with our social team right here. And we, as soon as it started popping off on TikTok initially, we did see some media interest of just like, what is going on? And then, but like a little bit. But what really gave us the opportunity from a news perspective was the secret menu hack edition in that August timeframe, the Nashville hot sauce. So this was exploding on TikTok. Media get their ideas from watching social media, and it also it was a story that had a really strong like consumer tie and a call to action. So I think, several people have mentioned the Triple Dipper has been around for a while, so there's not really a reason like to go in and do it right now if you've done your cheese pull, but now, there's a new sauce, like come in and get this menu hack. So that was something newsworthy that our reporter friends could cover. And then, as Jack mentioned, once the sales results really started making an impact, that's when a different kind of set of reporters were taking interest in kind of tying the success of social media to a real business. So
that's awesome.
Yeah.
If I ever have aspirations to trend, you guys are going to be my first phone call. It's
my gosh.
You're masters.
Don't look at me. I'm like, look at the cheese.
Cheese. I mean, who doesn't love fried cheese? I don't trust someone who says that they do not love fried cheese. Last question. How do your teams, so PR, social, digital marketing, collaborate to turn cultural moments into meaningful brand engagement?
Okay, I'm going to start this one because we had a project that was probably the most fun project I've ever worked on at Chili's, but it also probably involved the most teams. So I think it's a good answer to what you're talking about here. If you go to the next slide. So in last year, we found out from our new restaurant opening team that we were going to be opening a Chili's in Scranton, Pennsylvania. You might have assumed there was already a Chili's there, but there was not. And so the team said, hey, we're opening this. And of course, our minds went to a very popular show. It takes place in Scranton. And we knew we had to do something big here. And so we worked with the restaurant team to say, like, hey, what can we do to make this restaurant, like, very, very iconic? There's a lot of fans of The Office. And obviously, The Office, if you've never seen it, has kind of a tie to Chili's. There were 2 episodes that took place in a Chili's in season 2 of The Office. And so there was Pam saying, I feel God in this Chili's tonight. And there was another episode where they were, like, wheeling and dealing in a Chili's booth, eating Awesome Blossoms and, like, having deals. And so that's always been a part of, like, Chili's lore and history. And so to be building a restaurant in this town, it was a big deal to us. And so one of the other things we found out is that in March, it was The Office's 20th anniversary. And so we worked really closely with the restaurant team to really try and get this restaurant open in March. And if you've ever built anything, it's a very moving target. So it was a little touch and go, but we made it. And it was a fantastic partnership. And so if you ever find yourself in Scranton, I would love for you to go to this restaurant, because walking in it is a time capsule. We made this restaurant look exactly as it would have in 2005. So it has, like, wood paneling on the walls and tile tables. And when you walk in, there's this massive chalkboard art. And if you've been in a restaurant lately, we don't really have chalkboards anymore, but we got the original chalkboard artist from Chili's of many years ago to come out of retirement. He's a guy who lives in Austin named Sean. He runs a motorcycle shop now. And he came out of retirement and he built us this new chalkboard, multiple for the restaurant. And so this restaurant is truly a time capsule. It also has some, like, wink, wink, nudge, nudge, like, moments that you might recognize if you're a fan of the show on the walls. And so we also, I feel like I'm saying, and again, but we did more. We decided that there's nowhere else in the world you can get an Awesome Blossom. We don't sell them anymore. They're very operationally complex. But we decided that Scranton, Pennsylvania would be the place in the world you could get an Awesome Blossom. And so we recreated this booth that you can sit at that, like, looks identical to what it might have looked like in 2005, and you can get Awesome Blossoms there. And so we just put a ton of, like, heart and passion, and this was many teams, into this building. And then there was a question of, like, well, what more can we do? And we wanted to, like, tell the rest of the world, because it's fun for us, but, like, how many people are going through Scranton? And so that's where kind of the next phase of the project came in.
Yeah, so I think throughout the process, just to speak to your question, is, like, how do our teams work together? And this project is a prime example. So all of the little touches in an actual physical restaurant that Laura mentioned, these are things that we kind of were talking through, like, okay, would people care about that? Would media care about that? Like, what's interesting? And so the big one, Awesome Blossom. So we were like, okay, definitely if we are able to say that this is the only Chili's in the country that sells the Awesome Blossom, this beloved former menu item, we're like, that's going to be a hit, even if you're not a fan of this show from 20 years ago. So we were like, there's tons to work with there. And then also, of course, just, if you are a fan, opening in Scranton, Pennsylvania, I mean, it's the best. We actually, even, like, early days, like, we got a lot of the local media in Scranton reaching out to us saying, we were hearing rumors from our city friends that, like, you guys are opening a restaurant. And we're like, okay, so you guys are really excited about this. And so, like, they know all the lore around the show. So we leaned in hard.
Yes. And so to kind of, as Melissa said, like, we had to lean in hard, but how do we make it relevant for the rest of the country? So we decided we were going to do a $5 Scranton Marg. And so you could go into any Chili's on opening day and get this $5 drink. So it was a nice tie that made, like, a relevance to the whole world. But also we thought we needed, like, a video to introduce this Scranton to the world. So we made this video. I hope the sound plays. Let's see if it does.
Tables? Head in with your Scranton office co-workers for any occasion, like your Scranton office award show. Those are big here. That's what she said. Enjoy a legendary Awesome Blossom. Yep, they're back. Only at Chili's Scranton. Awesome Blossoms are back? Back? As in, I want my baby back, baby back, baby back, baby back, baby back, baby back, baby back. I want my Chili's baby back. Chili's baby back ready. Chili Stratton! How is it?
Okay, so that video, I don't know how many of you are like rabid fans of the show, but every single person in that video had a role in The Office. You might have recognized some, like Jan and David Walsh, who are a little bit bigger, but like there were warehouse workers and like Kevin's old girlfriend and like the IT guy. Like there was every single person. And so you might have noticed it was shot in kind of like a grainy 2005 style. And so we built this video. Our VP of marketing, Jesse Johnson, called it Internet Catnip. And like what we dreamed of happened. It was like people on Reddit dissecting and trying to be like, I recognize this guy from this scene. It was like a whole thing. It was really successful. However, if you're not a rabid fan, you might see this video and be like, I don't know who any of these people are. And so we brought in some other famous friends you might recognize a little bit more. I'll let Luz and Jack tell you about them.
Yeah, so we brought in 2 Office stars that you see on the screen behind us, obviously. And then I'm really proud of the approach that we take on social for anything that's a campaign. As a social media manager, normally when they're like, hey, we want to post a 60-second spot on social, I'm like, okay.
You roll his eyes at me.
Yeah, I do. But this Scranton one was obviously totally different. It was like our best performing spot we'd ever posted. But we took a like unique approach to this socially because obviously we couldn't use any IP from The Office, and so we had to make like little remarks from the show. So one of them being Kevin dropping his chili pot or his chili was like a huge clip from the show that goes viral. So in the middle right there, we change it to an Awesome Blossom because we have those at the restaurant. And so that's Katie, who's on our team, being talent, actually dropping the Awesome Blossom. So we focused on 2 things for social here. One was that we had the Awesome Blossom at the Scranton location, only in Scranton, and then the other one being that the Scranton Mark was available for $5, which you'll see on the left, and which you'll see on the left. So this crushed on social. I mean, there's so many Office fans that are on social that are still talking about The Office, and it's been off air for I don't know how long. Roy would know, like 10 or 15 years. But yeah, this was just like a dream come true campaign, and honestly, like made our jobs so easy to work with this talent and put it on social.
Well, awesome. Have you guys been called the Awesome Foursome yet? No?
No.
I like it.
We're adopted, yeah.
Yeah. If you need, are you hiring? Do you need me to start creating content? Just kidding. You guys are awesome, though. Thank you so much for this. It was such a pleasure to work with you all, and I'm sure do we have a minute or two for maybe 1 or 2 questions before we close out? Yeah. Yeah, we do. Great. Okay.
This is the one thing we have not talked about all day was you all are like us in that you have franchisees and you can't control what franchisees always do. So you do all these great things on social and you invite people to come in. How do you make sure that this doesn't fall flat when they get there?
That's such a great question. We're actually in a really, really lucky position where 95%, I'm looking at George, 95% of the fleet is corporate owned. And so something that like I don't think we've mentioned at all, except potentially Mary Ellen, is like none of this would be successful. None of the Big QP, Big Smasher, the mozzarella, if we didn't have like best in class operations in the restaurant. So ahead of all of the launches that you see, so much effort and work goes into on the learning and development and the operations end to make sure that our guests are having that same experience in restaurant.
Franchises you do that are awesome.
Another question? Here.
I'm curious how you guys think about the balance between like how many of these more like culturally relevant moments, especially big ones like the Scranton thing or the Catholic financing shop, you do compared to the more brass tacks, just how much you're spending on TV and like the basics of the business. Like, how do you guys think about that balance, both just strategically, but also even resources, budget, people?
That's such a good question. It's a perfect marriage between obviously Tim, who you guys heard from earlier, and all of us here. But we take a look at the cohesive calendar. Tentpole's the priority. So Laura's efforts and Big Smasher or the Big QP or anything of the tentpole. And then we take a look at what makes sense from a calendar perspective. Like, I'm making this up. This is not real. Like National Margarita Day is actually a really good example of like, what are days that are really ownable for the brand that we can show up in culture in a differentiated way, in addition to what new food are we bringing that could kind of layer on from a culture perspective to bring those culture pops that George talked about to life. And so it's a balance of those. It's a balance of discipline too, because Melissa would tell me like, hey, you can't do something every 2 weeks. We can't come at media every 2 weeks is what Melissa does a really great job at telling us. So it's a great balance of discipline and then understanding like what we want the brand's momentum to be throughout the year from a calendar perspective between tentpole, PR moments, business moments too with earnings. And so it's a balance of all of those things in a calendar view.
I would say too, like the examples we just ran through, so Scranton, that was on our new restaurant opening schedule for a few, like it's been on there for a few years. And so we were like, well, okay, well, whenever we actually open this, let's lean into it. So it was like on our radar, but it wasn't like a planned, activation at the beginning. And then for sure, Triple Dipper, that was not on our marketing calendar, but once we saw it taking off, we're like, okay, we gotta lean in, and we kind of pivoted from there, just to really lean into the relevance.
Okay, great. Thank you guys so much. We have one more? Okay.
Yay. You can get an Uber to Chili's. So absolutely. Yes.
Was that a plan?
Thank you. Thank you. I should have paid you to do that, but I didn't. Oh my gosh. Thank you so much.
Oh my God. Did you plan that? All right. Thank you all. Let's get to happy hour.
Thank you.